Jesse's like, yes, start the meeting. Well, we have a quorum. I believe Bruce is on.
Can you get this camera to do something else?
No, it has to focus on you.
Bruce is on,
You're the star.
Jesse's on, and us. Oh. Your co-host, alright, so we're all set. Alright, and I don't see anybody else on, so this ought to be an interesting meeting. Call the meeting to order, are there any items that need to be added or changed or anything from the agenda? Anybody have anything to
Nope.
add, change? Nope, okay. Then well, minutes from last meeting? Any comments, changes on the minutes? I thought they were fine, I sort of
They were
approved
fine.
them. I think we have to officially approve them at these
Yes, we
meetings
do.
though.
So
Okay.
moved.
So
Second.
moved, second, all in favor, aye, excellent, opposed? Okay. Then I would say next thing on our agenda is public hearing for the 1068 Snyder Hill Road. I move that we open the public hearing. I have a second. Second, all in favor to open the public hearing,
Yep.
excellent. Has there, Bob, were there any comments from the public or anybody send anything?
Did
for
get
the
any
public hearing?
comments?
Okay. And we still have 3 people in, so it's Bruce, Jesse, and us.
And us, yes.
So there's nobody online. I move to close the public hearing. Do I have a second? Excellent. All in favor? Excellent.
I'd like to have a resolution.
Well,
Oh, is that down further? It's down further.
no, I mean, it is the
There
next,
was a development today. I went out to see the Snyders. And
A development unit?
no,
a development unit. And they're having the entire parcel surveyed, but it hasn't happened yet. They thought they would have it ready, and the survey map that she had does not show the entire parcel, so I think you should probably table it. And they will have both parcels
Yeah.
surveyed next month. And I'm learning a lesson. You know, you missed this, but earlier I had a map delivered to me at 5:30. The correction, make
Today?
sure people have a complete packet 2 weeks before and not, okay, the map's coming next week and this is what it's gonna look like. It doesn't, the facts don't change, but often the documents don't materialize like they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing this as a service to them,
Yeah,
even though they pay more than $2,000 in property tax. Yeah, we get all that, but this is a service for them, and
What a deal.
we should set the, the bars of what we need to be able to do our job, and yeah, just hold on.
I'm learning the lesson.
so. I mean, I'm open to tabling it because. Yeah,
You don't have anything to
But
stand.
It hasn't been.
I don't have anything to stamp. I would say at the same time, honestly, if I'm only getting digital copies, I still don't have anything to stamp. So I'm often stamping things after the fact. So I'm just putting it out there that we do understand the circumstances of what the lot is. That's been surveyed and sent to us as far as what's being parceled off versus the rest of it. Can we legally, and how do we feel about going through the motions, and then when the full survey shows up, that's what I actually stamp. Assuming it, matches up, but that's what I stamp and sign.
Can I clarify something just the structure of the current subdivision law? And so the lot line adjustments are signed off on by the review board chair. For minor and major subdivisions, the review board approves those by resolution, and they're stamped by the clerk. So
Oh, so I'm not even necessarily stamping it.
For a subdivision, right?
For certain.
But the,
And this
but
is
you-
a minor
it's a
subdivision.
minor subdivision, but the other thing that happens is as soon as you approve it, the 62-day clock starts for them to turn it in.
Well, that was gonna be one of my procedural questions was, does it start when we approve it or when it's stamped and signed?
Well, then the other intricacy is that the clerk is supposed to stamp the survey within 5 days of the review board's approval.
For a minor subdivision. Right.
Yeah, for minor and major subdivisions, yeah.
So in being that there's no survey, we probably shouldn't do that then.
So we should just table
I would, and you don't have to table it because you didn't introduce it yet, right?
I
Or
did
did-
not, I went, oh, it's stopped. So,
It's on the agenda.
Just keep it in your pocket.
okay,
it. Okay, so we'll kick that to next month. Assuming they have a survey by then. Sure they. Okay. Next item on the agenda is 3148 Slaterville Road, which is a minor subdivision and a lot line adjustment. And I think that's the one I needed a little bit of explanation on. Do you
I
have?
think I've got the maps for the lot line adjustment. The survey maps.
Oh,
are
right.
Here. And here's a large version showing the entire. Show the entire parcel. They own property on both sides of the road. This just shows the layout of the rest of it. But this is the area in question right here, this rectangle.
For the lot line adjustment.
For the lot
Right.
line adjustment.
Okay.
The subdivision, I guess you'll have do we have the meeting, the public hearing?
we have to
No.
set it.
Yeah.
We can set it for next month.
Okay, and then make a decision. Yeah, so I spoke to her today too. And
So these would be remaining and this would be what's being,
actually this parcel, right. This has to do with the subdivision. I probably
So that, this is this,
want to do one thing at a time, but
so this is the part,
Right.
right?
yeah, this here. And I have a narrative.
and so they're getting the rest of the parcel surveyed. So that we have a full map, is that the idea?
I believe, yeah, for
For
that,
that.
because this would be, she's not retaining that, so she would need a full survey of all of this.
This one here, it doesn't show the subdivision she's planning for the,
No,
okay.
I don't think, okay,
Okay.
no,
yeah, that,
it just has swamps on it, swamps. This
okay,
is just selling them this piece.
yes. Right, so that's that's on the agenda for tonight, and I guess you set the public hearing. for
It
next
doesn't
month.
require.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well.
no, this
the
doesn't,
subdivision.
but
Oh,
the
right,
subdivision,
Right,
and this is
And
the,
so,
But except for, my question is there a sketch plan or any plan for the subdivision? Maybe
I don't think we have that yet.
okay.
so is this being divided or is this parcel
Oh.
being divided?
Here's the narrative. And
Thank you.
it's front and back,
Essentially,
Oh,
if you,
Bonnie desired to fill off usable land from her farm now that her husband has passed. Her neighbor to the east of the property, Dwayne and Pamela Austin, have horses on their existing lot, decided to purchase 3.78 acres of Bonnie's land to expand their lot to be used for pasture and for their horses and hay. As to that transfer, it's a boundary line adjustment and only one development unit is being sold to the Austins. Bonnie's desire to keep 6 acres, which includes her existing home, garage, barn, yard, and some pasture land behind the barn. Bonnie will be retaining 2 development units Bonnie Watson has also entered into a contract to sell the remaining 76.72 acres of land located west of the land she is retaining on the north side of 79 to Ricardo and Mildred Alvarado. I know them. It's probably not a big deal.
You
as far
can
as
know them, you just
conflict
can't
of
have any
interest.
dealings with them.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, I see.
Couple currently reside at 1922 Slayerville Road, Ithaca, New York. The buyers were introduced to Bonnie Watson through Cornell Cooperative Extension under a program to connect people who want to continue to use farmland for farming purposes. There will be 25 development units conveyed to Ricardo and Mildred, according to the attorney, blah, blah, blah. The approximately 48 acres of land remaining, which is located on the south side of Route 79, is already a separate piece of land with field and woods behind the field. The Watsons had the parcel added to their farm for tax purposes years ago. Bonnie Watson's entered into a contract to sell the land to David Assas, who currently owns other land in the immediate area. David has confirmed to me that he has no intention of changing the use of land at all. He will continue the use of tillage acreage to produce hay and intend to maintain the woods as they currently exist in recreational hunting purposes.
So the south side of 79 is over here. It's not even on this map, right?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not.
Yeah.
They'll need a new survey map for that. The state, real property law requires any property that's being offered for sale to the public must have a survey map done for it. And that's
So the only part, so. So this is a separate parcel, but it was added to this parcel
It's-
or
Yeah.
at one point in
Yeah.
time?
Does the tax map show lines between them?
So now it's all one big parcel. So so the subdivision is this lot,
No.
this lot, and that lot.
now this tax map connects them.
Yeah, there it is.
So evidently they bought the lot and added it to it and now they want to.
I don't think it's this
On
lot.
it.
I don't think she's selling.
She's
Right, is she?
No, she's retaining it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
So this is part of the mother lot.
Yes.
Right.
So,
The only thing that
so this lot or
Right.
whatever she's retaining is
part of
part of
that.
all of that. So what's being subdivided off is this and that to be sold.
In two different places.
Two different sales.
Yeah,
But I don't know that she's applying for subdivision of that right now. It needs to be connected with this. You don't know.
yeah. I think we just know right now that we're, look, you want me
All
back?
right, so we're,
I told you I'm drowning in survey map.
Whoa.
Okay, here, this is the map.
wow,
Yeah,
that's just kidding.
Oh, did-
everything is done.
To one scale?
Yeah. Wow.
So we do have the complete survey, I'm
this is the
sorry.
proposed subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Current worth and title?
So she is gonna subdivide.
I mean,
She's subdividing.
Yeah, so,
well,
yeah, because it's one giant piece now. It
all
just
right,
doesn't
so we have
seem
a
like
lot
it's
line
much.
adjustment. Subdividing off that parcel, subdividing off that parcel, retaining this parcel.
Right,
Subdividing it, yeah. So it's a 3-lot subdivision,
Okay.
right? Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean,
But what, I didn't pick up on what that little wedge is over there. Is this,
I don't know.
this thing? That,
no evidence of fence line. Parent gore and title. Title area.
oh, it's two
gore.
different lines. Wow.
That they're apparently not sure which line
Oh
it
my
actually is.
God, that's incredible.
Line for Watson deed, prior deeds, Watson parcel, line for TG Miller survey and prior deeds for
It's probably about north. You know, there's north and true north. And and that's so, in the olden days, that's what really screwed up maps. was
Well,
north and
it's,
true
it
north.
also says no evidence of fence line. There was probably a mention in the deed of a fence line.
Yeah.
A long fence line, blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting.
Uh,
That's really interesting. How does that
Okay.
get resolved?
With lawyers.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors.
I think you are utterly correct.
Yeah, I would say it's not our job, although.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't have to get resolved. All right, so
I have a resolution, because that's what I do.
I say go for it.
Okay, so whereas the Town of Carolina Review Board has reviewed the information provided by Bonnie L. Watson regarding a lot line adjustment of a 3.78 acre lot tax map parcel 7.1-34 at 3148 Slater Bay Road, which would create a second lot of approximately 1 acre at the meeting, that's a comma, at the meeting at 7 p.m. on June 3rd, 2025. Therefore, it is resolved that the Town of Carolina Review Board hereby approves the lot line adjustment request of Miss Watson. Is she assigning one development unit? I believe I read that somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Yes, who is assigning one development unit to the new parcel with the following information not included in the review: proposed use of each lot, proposed location of any structures, septic permit, water supply information, and driveway locations.
Second.
Okay,
Do I write on here the one development, right? Being conveyed?
Yeah,
Because.
I was hoping the surveyor would put it,
Yeah, we've been.
In
discussing
writing.
this, and that is the
but
standard we would, I'm not advocating it for it here. that-
Yeah, no, and I thought I saw, maybe you just wrote it on the one
I wrote it on a post-it and
and
put
stuck
it
it on here.
thing, so
Okay,
that was me, but.
okay.
Perfect. We have it.
All right, we have a second. Any discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Excellent. So,
Can I mention an aside that's just, I talked to the Danby planner, he impressed upon me the importance of these. The sign and approved plat. So that they had someone come to them to develop a parcel, and then upon research, they discovered that previously been subdivided and that parcel had been designated as a conservation area. They had the board resolution and everything, but it had not been noted on the plat. And so it worked out in the end, but their attorney, who is our attorney, said this is problematical and it puts you in a difficult situation. The owners eventually left it alone and decided not to pursue it. But anyway, it impressed upon me how, like the review board's resolution is great,
Mhm.
but it goes into the deed and everything from the signed plat. So we want those to be very clear. Sorry, that was kind of long-winded.
okay, do we want to set a public hearing for next month for this project and the subdivision?
Do we have everything now for the subdivision?
Yeah, we have the maps, so. Sure.
Yeah.
I move that we set a public hearing for next month, the July meeting.
July 1,
July 1 first.
get the rest of the month off.
Right?
Yeah.
One way to look at it.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent, opposed? No. All right, so public hearing. And so that will need to go to the county for 239 review and also posted for the public hearing.
And we will mailed to adjacent landowners and publish legal notice.
Excellent. All right, so next one, just stamping these after. Next one is Don's.
So this is-
What we're doing?
We have one,
It's up to you, since there's not really any difference between the audience and the board. Tonight, I don't really care if you stay in your seat. Just keep yourself under control.
And I will,
No voting.
I will answer questions when asked.
Okay. All right, I was actually a little confused about yours, Don, so if you could explain, do we have the maps?
Sure. Few of them.
more dramatic this way.
Am I supposed to?
It's
Blur it?
it's not very big.
Yeah, it's underwhelming. Sorry.
Well, since you said that.
Life is
We
better.
get a second one.
It's got the detail of the map.
Let's see. So. I understand separation of parcel A. But where parcel B is getting consolidated with. No, that's going to Buzzard.
Blizzard.
Blizzard? Blizzard. Oh, wow, it really looks like Buzzard.
It does, yeah.
Does it say Blizzard?
No, it's.
No, it's
No,
just
it's
the L.
the L.
It's the L and the I.
It's the typeface is the issue.
Okay. So then. This is getting subdivided from this parcel,
No, from the one to its left,
from that parcel.
right?
And getting combined with this parcel.
No,
It's just being subdivided.
that's just public access here.
This is his driveway.
Okay. Oh, I guess I was,
So this is not a lot line adjustment.
yeah, all right. I guess I
This
was,
is the lot line adjustment right here. Who's back? This is a subdivided parcel.
okay, so remaining lands in town. I see. I was getting confused because some of the writing was over here. I was thinking that was the parcel, but I see. So this is your parcel, what you're remaining.
That's-
This is what's being subdivided off and then your lot line adjustment is this one for the neighbor.
Right,
Got it.
Okay,
Okay.
So it's a 3-lot subdivision or 2-lot?
well, there's one major lot,
Okay,
and then from that I'm subdividing parcel A. And then parcel B is not really a subdivision, it's a lot line adjustment. 'Cause
okay,
It's not even an acre.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Can we? Well, I was just wondering if we can. Do the lot line adjustment tonight? Or does the subdivision have to get approved first and then that lot line is a lot line adjustment of that
From
subdivision?
my perspective, if we did them both at the same time, that'd be,
Keep it all together.
keep it all together.
Okay,
There's not a reason to
Mhm.
okay,
do the lot line adjustment ahead,
okay. So we're gonna.
set a public. hearing.
Yeah, set a public hearing for next month and we'll just deal with both of them at the
Yeah.
same time. Okay.
Oh, so, sorry to be
Go right ahead.
stubborn, but so, the parent parcel, before
Yes.
any of this is done, is all of this? Is that right?
And
Including,
across the road,
including this?
including that and
Yeah.
across the road.
So it is a 3-lot. It's essentially a 3-lot subdivision, creating 3 from 1.
No, it's
No,
just creating
I'm just
two.
creating two from.
Oh,
Two, he's just two. He's got the
okay,
parent division is being divided off of this. This is being divided off of the parent,
That.
sorry. And then the lot line is just being adjusted.
oh,
This is
okay,
not a subdivision.
What's across the road is simply the same.
That's where my house is.
Situation of the same lot.
So, yeah, when you buy land,
Right,
farmland, you get, often there's land on both sides of the road. It's not being subdivided off, it's still part of that same tax parcel.
Okay.
Um. I guess my, my only comment, because it came up with the Snyder Hill one, is that the survey map doesn't include the entire parcel. Like this parcel, or the survey map doesn't include the entire.
Sure. So, yeah, I can ask the surveyor to do that, because he has all the data points. Just try to put it on something you could actually
You could read, yeah. I agree, I'm just saying,
Because it goes that far in the other direction.
I'm sure,
So that'll have to have a big map,
I'm just saying.
or you won't be able to read it.
Well,
I'm
so-
only bringing it up consistency wise,
Right.
if Snyder Hill were asking them for the whole
Yeah,
survey of the parent parcel.
When I spoke to them, and we've had a long discussion, I'm on one side and Mark and Tim.
No, the
Kind of,
guy clarified everything to me.
that there, you have, the board has the power to waive condition if you find it unnecessary. The bottom line is
Onerous.
that you have to certify that both of these lots are legal lots. And if the owner is not selling this lot, I think this would suffice, as long as you can record any change of the development units, any distribution in the development units on this map, and a copy of this map will go with this property.
So-
It shows that. But if the property is for sale, if Don was gonna sell this property, he would have to require a survey map for the whole thing.
Mhm.
so Don, did you say it's already been surveyed, right?
When the surveyor was out, he went to all the corners and did it.
So,
So it's all digital,
right,
and he can
So
create the map. It's not like he
my,
has to come back out.
my feeling about the process here is that you have enough information for the sketch plan meeting, but for the public hearing and approval, it would be ideal to have the full map.
I had two people drop out who applied, fill out application for minor subdivision, taking one lot and breaking it into two. When I told them, you need to survey the whole thing, their surveyors, both surveyors said, that's onerous to make someone pay to have the whole lot surveyed if they're staying in their house, if they're not selling that property.
But what I'm saying is Don has this, it's already been done.
No,
Okay.
no, I think we're setting a precedent. though.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
So if that's what the town is gonna ask for, then we need to be consistent about that.
I totally agree.
So,
So, but didn't you say that if something's up for sale, you have to have the full survey?
Yes.
So isn't that about the land as well, or not?
Well, it's about.
Because you're saying it's
but
just a lot line adjustment.
no, but if you have a parcel that's huge and
Uh-huh.
you're just selling this little portion,
Yeah.
now you have to survey the whole. What it sounds like the town is saying is that you have to survey the whole thing to sell off this little parcel.
Yes, but is that, weren't you saying the state requires that?
No.
No,
If you're
okay.
gonna sell it, if you're gonna sell,
A lot.
if you're gonna sell this, the whole, in other words, right now, Don is not selling this part
Right,
on the other side of the road.
I'm keeping
So
stuff on both sides.
it's not, it wouldn't be, it doesn't serve a purpose to have
survey
a
that.
survey go and put flags because he knows where his property is. That's not an issue.
right,
But this would.
is, because,
Is,
yes,
And it needs to be
Because you're
surveyed
creating a
because
new
people
line.
need to know what they're buying.
okay, yes, because you're creating a new line.
Yeah.
So
I
you
understand.
just need us to say it's onerous to do the whole thing.
Yeah, if you decide it's two owners for someone, then you could do that, but,
And if it runs into the thousands of dollars, that sounds pretty doggone onerous.
well, like I say, I had two people just say, never mind, I'm not doing it, and I don't know if they're gonna, know what their plans are, not to
Well,
sell the
I was
property.
gonna say, that's kind of ridiculous.
Just to clarify, and Guy today clarified all of this in
Yeah.
an email because we consulted him about it. The review board has the option of waiving the larger survey as a formal procedure, not just, oh, this is onerous, but as a formal procedure, the review board has that option.
So
in the
not
law.
setting it as a policy, but doing it
That's right.
each time.
Each time.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, it's, so that's the law, it has a waiver in there, and that's. So the scenario, it is like what Craig mentioned, a large lot and then, you know, little pieces being carved
Yes.
out. And so if the review board felt like it's onerous to require the whole 100 acres to be surveyed for this 1 or 3 acre parcel, then they have that ability.
And I think in the Snyder situation with the property they're selling is a pond. It's all water. So you know it's water. If it's no development units are going there, it's not going to be used for any development at any time. It doesn't cost anything to, look at the map and see where the wetlands are. But if it didn't have a wetland map and you said, well, we don't need that, you could say, we don't need it. We know it's water and no development can occur there anyway. So that's not relevant, whether there's wetlands or a flood zone there.
But that's
If it can't be developed, it's irrelevant.
but that's different than the question of the survey, right?
It's one item. The attorney said you may waive any, and the law says you may waive any of the requirements if you find them
Right,
unreasonable.
right.
Or unnecessary. So
Yeah.
this is the case that we have is it's 45 acres and it's on both sides of the road,
Right,
split almost evenly.
Yep.
So we're taking one side of the road, essentially taking half of that
Mhm.
and subdividing it all.
right,
So now we still have one side of the road not untouched, and we still have half the acreage on the other side of the road. So that lot has all been surveyed, it's all
Right.
set together. And if we have this map that says one development unit has gone with this parcel,
Which way?
then whenever we come back to the town or whoever for the sale of more land, then that's just part of it. That's
Yeah.
just part of what we have. So it's not like the review board gains anything by having that full map, because it already exists.
I totally agree. I also, in the same vein, I don't think the Snyder Hill Road map that we need the full survey for that one either. I'm fine with
I would
what
agree
we
with
have.
that.
When I spoke to them, Mrs. Snyder said they're having the whole thing surveyed, but
Well,
they did a map like this. I think they call this a sketch map where they show
Right.
the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
But if it's recorded and you record the development units, that was the only real concern I had. We want some kind of map. It doesn't have to be a full survey. It could be a plat or a sketch map where you can record the development units for the future.
right.
So that was my only.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I'm agreeing with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you seem to have a different position. Why?
So first I wanted to say it is a review board decision.
Good, because we're not going to be influenced by you anyway.
What's that? Yeah, you're just gonna not make a difference.
I'm just being nice.
So, yeah, so I think it's, I had two reasons. One is to be sure that we have the best information possible for where the lots are. The law says any new lot requires a survey for those boundaries.
Yeah,
So to get around that, the review board has to waive that provision. And then the second one was just my, I like a clarity of process so that you're not having to make a different decision for every applicant. So those were my concerns.
Could you consider clarity of process to, I guess, I think there is a sort of clarity of the process, which is that the 5 human beings are gonna make a reasonable decision on what they need.
Say that again?
So like, I get what you mean by clarity of process, but I think if the review board has to make that call every time instead of being like a nice streamlined pipeline for you. I think that the clarity of process is that we're gonna ask for what we need and not more than that. I think that's a reasonable,
Yeah.
sort of, I think that process sort of makes
And
sense.
I respect that.
Yeah.
So, by the way, you know, I was asked for my opinion.
No,
It's a
yeah.
review board decision, so.
I think the cost is, I don't want to make costs that are not necessary for people.
Not when they're already spending $2,000 on,
Taxes.
Taxes.
how many times are we gonna get
That keeps coming up.
those?
So,
But just to be clear, we did just because there was some differences of consideration of reading the law, so we did ask Guy to review
Yeah.
everything. And this morning, he did provide a pretty clear
Okay.
declaration that in fact, the law itself requires a full survey, but there are provisions within the subdivision law that allow for the review board
Discretion,
to have waivers. So that would be the process, that's all.
that's right.
Cool.
Right. Well, then I'd like to go back and say about the Schneiders that I just think having to survey the other side of the road to me seems,
for our process, yes, I completely agree.
Unnecessary.
If they wanna do it, fine,
that's fine.
it's up to them, but.
Check with her tomorrow and see when she talks to Mr. Reagan, her surveyor, if he would produce a map like this and not necessarily have to go and, you know, put the pins down. That's what the survey map means they've done a field survey and they've been out and, you know, marked all the corners.
Mhm.
But have a map like this that you can record the development units on.
Right.
That would save them.
So that brings up an interesting point in that when I'm stamping any survey map,
Mhm.
am I putting or writing, ideally it's the surveyor or whoever. But in this case, I don't have, you said that one development unit is conveying with this lot line adjustment.
Yes.
Do I also have to put how many units are retaining with?
Yeah, and I think that's in the narrative that the attorney wrote.
So, yeah, so they're
Absolutely,
keeping
that's right.
things. No. Oh, this is the lot line adjustment. So that was, the narrative was on that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, so probably.
yeah, that would be,
Yeah.
that would be super helpful for the surveyor, somebody to have that already on me.
Yeah, I agree.
We're gonna.
And I spoke to the surveyor weeks ago and asked him
Right.
to do that. The attorney got involved.
And that's exactly what Ian did for the solar parcels. It's nicely typed into the.
Right.
Yeah.
Plat.
Right,
And since the clerk is who stamps the subdivision maps, she'll really need that in order
Right.
to do it. There shouldn't be any confusion by the time it hits her desk. It should be all laid out.
right.
So the determination of how many development units are on existing parcel is done by
The owner.
who?
The applicant.
The applicant.
And to
And we
further,
would check because
In
it's
consultation.
divided by 3
Bob will guide them. but-
Yeah.
with my wisdom.
and your ability to divide by 3.
Yeah. It always helps. Yeah.
Wow. Okay,
And, maybe this is, I think it's a good time to bring up the point you made today about the applicant versus the buyer, when we have a lot line adjustment.
Mhm.
The lot line adjustment always means the neighbor is buying the property, but we require a narrative of the applicant, who's the owner. Well, he's not going to be using the property anymore. He's selling it.
Right.
So we should probably require the neighbor who's buying it to submit the narrative, so we know how it's going to be used, and the buyer knows if he can or cannot use the property the way
Actually,
he had it.
well,
I
no,
was not suggesting that,
Oh.
so, but close, but.
You said have both signed.
No,
Yeah, so I,
but if the deal goes through and they sell it to somebody else, then they have to go through the process again?
No,
Because you
no,
have a
no,
new buyer?
this is-
No, but
It's-
the
it's-
guy who's buying it, if he wants to put a house there and they don't have any development units, then, you know, they need to know up front when they write out, "Well, I plan to build a house for my son on this property," and then you're looking at it and you say, wait a minute, we have a problem. Buyer does not want, the buyer's intended use doesn't match what's happening. He won't be able to do what he
I
wants
think we're
to.
going down a real rabbit hole here because
But that's your
now you
job.
gotta tell where the well's gonna be, where the septic's gonna be, where the
Can I-
driveway's gonna be, just for a lot line adjustment.
I just.
No, not that, but.
Can I
just
offer what I really said?
general-
Oh, I saw this at the town of Groton subdivision materials. They're really nice. So I noticed on the lot line adjustments, all it requires the owners of both parcels to sign, to acknowledge it. That's all. It just requires the owner of the lot getting bigger and the owner of the lot, just so they're in the loop. Other than that, the process would be exactly the same. And it doesn't require a change in our law, it would just be, we require that on the application. I mean, it only makes sense, you wouldn't want someone to do a lot line adjustment and the person on the other side never knows about it, which could happen.
Well, the Snyders are selling a pond to someone. I've never had any contact with him at all.
Yeah.
I'm told he just wants to hunt and fish the land. What if he planned to build a house, a boathouse or something?
He has no
Well-
On that
development
land?
units.
It's all water. You
He has no development units.
There's no development units.
And it would
Yeah,
say it
but-
on the plat.
And that would be a reason for you to deny it.
No,
No, so
no,
the Snyder's is
No.
much simpler. He's subdividing it apart. He's, that's, right, that's a subdivision, not a.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was thinking that.
For the time being, he owns both of them.
Right.
He's going to sign, so it's no big deal.
With a lot line adjustment for the time being. The current owner owns it,
Right.
Right.
and not till you have a closing, does it change ownership?
And in that closing, the person would have a new plat.
Well, now, in the case of,
You wouldn't have a new plat if it's a lot line adjustment.
in the,
you know, what's really interesting is I just realized that I think the Snyder Hill one could be a lot line adjustment. Because they own, because they own the property, they're selling it to the people next door.
Snyder Hill I'm not sure he owns
No,
that. No, he doesn't.
it's not his neighbor.
It's not his neighbor.
Yeah, they own the land that butts up to it from,
Does he? I don't.
Ellis Hollow Road.
yeah, on Ellis Hollow Road.
So it doesn't, if he merges those,
Bruce is
it
saying.
wouldn't create a new lot.
Right.
What you're saying is.
Yeah, it's a lot line adjustment, it just takes in that,
Mhm.
Let me check this.
it's actually a shift.
Didn't know he had adjacent land.
I'm 90% sure.
It makes sense if he's hunting, he wants to be able
Yeah,
across
it's
his
land
own
right
land.
next to it.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's true.
I think it shows in the survey
Interesting.
at least.
There's, somewhere I've got a list of.
Land and property down some road.
Yeah. That should have been in the narrative, right?
Hey Bruce, do you have something to say? If you don't, could you turn your mic off, please? Do you mean that?
I don't know where it's coming from.
You can mute it, I think yourself.
Right, sure. Okay, he's muted already.
So we can tell the neighbors. No.
I think what's in the narrative.
Which neighbors we talking
2130 Ellis.
It would be Snyder. They
Snyder.
were talking about Snyder, right?
Neighbors.
And who are the neighbors?
Who are the buyers? Who's the prospective buyer?
2130 House Hollow Road.
Does that go back there?
Oh, that's interesting.
Who is the, here are the abutting property owners, so.
Yeah, it's Hackett, Tim and Lena Hackett is who they're selling it to.
So that's the big horse farm on Ellis Hollow Road.
Yeah,
Oh,
That old pretty place.
So a lot line adjustment,
hunting land, they're gonna sell it to Tim and Eileen Hackett,
yeah.
one of the abutting neighbors, so.
It is a lot line adjustment.
It's a job.
Pretty good.
Uh,
The definition of a lot line adjustment doesn't create another lot.
Mhm.
What I have. I don't
It
have it
just-
memorized.
That's really it.
A lot.
yeah, just, what?
This does create another lot.
Does it?
No,
There's more than 3 acres, that's a lot.
But no.
you're saying you can't
A
do a lot
parcel.
line adjustment for more than 3 acres? It's a development unit. Potentially, but
It
it's
would all
not a
be
lot,
the same lot though. Or
You're
parcel.
just-
It's got road frontage.
but there's a
You're saying-
line between these lots and it's just moving. I
Mhm.
don't know what else a lot line adjustment would be.
That would be simpler because they probably want to
Go look
merge
it
the
up.
lots later.
Right? Well, it's not even merging lots, like they would merge the lots later, right?
Right,
If it's a subdivision, but now it's just a lot line
Exactly.
adjustment.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
that makes sense to me, but I haven't seen the map, so.
Um. Where they're at. One. 1-2. Oh, well, it doesn't say, but.
And there, you might not have those maps here, because their piece is probably in Dryden, right?
No,
If it's on Ellis Hollow Road,
it's the Caroline.
It's Caroline.
that part is Caroline, okay,
All right, we're getting all
yeah.
Yeah,
discombobulated.
involved it.
Let's do that, something that we can finish.
So, for Don's project. I suggest that we waive the need for a full survey for the entire property.
I agree.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay,
Craig, also you called for a motion for a public hearing. But never-
right, so I'm gonna waive it, I'm gonna waive the need for the full survey, so now we consider it a full application or whatever. So now we can set a public hearing for next month.
Right,
I don't know if that was seconded.
that was seconded.
That's
Excellent.
what I'm saying. You had called for it, but never got a second or a vote on that.
Okay, great, thank you, Jesse. So we have a second, all in favor of public hearing for next month for Don's
Aye.
project? Aye, opposed? Excellent.
Bruce, we're assuming that you're voting yes unless we hear from you.
Yeah, I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
Aye. Aye.
excellent.
aye, excellent, aye.
Thank you. That was excellent.
All right, so we have public hearing for Don's.
And we have a public hearing for 1068 Snyder Hill.
Correct.
We do,
So Snyder Hill is not a lot line adjustment,
because it's
because
they don't abut.
They don't about, oh, I didn't hear that.
No, I don't know, no,
Oh, we
well,
don't know.
that would be my question, so for the Snyder Hill project. We had it set for, well, no, we already had a public hearing, we had it set for approval next month, but.
Hackett,
But honestly, yeah,
I think, isn't that the,
Because we have
Packet, isn't that?
It's accurate right there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's the,
So this would be so that's Craig's asking, would this be a lot line adjustment?
So it'd be a
Yeah.
lot line adjustment
Yeah.
that just goes to the road rather than,
so you don't need a public hearing?
well, we already did it, but we don't need it.
we had it tonight.
But more importantly, we can waive the need for a full survey, especially with a lot line adjustment, because it no longer is a subdivision, doesn't require a full survey anyway.
Right, so. I happen to have a resolution.
Excellent.
That's, or this is Watson, right, okay.
No,
No.
not Watson. 1068
It's Schneider.
Schneider Hill Road.
Okay, so whereas the Town of Caroline Review Board has held a public hearing on a minor subdivision, except it's actually a lot, but we did
Lot
that.
line adjustment.
Yes.
Yes,
But we had it on the minor subdivision,
it's true.
1068 Snyder Hill Road, tax map parcel 1.-1.21.26 at 7 PM on June 2nd. And whereas the review board has reviewed the information from that public hearing and all the materials submitted by the applicant, the furnished survey map, as well as the section 239 review from Tompkins County Planning, and has found that the materials are complete. And I'm gonna put in, and whereas the review board realized that this sale would be to an adjoining parcel owner, that this action is a lot line adjustment. Right?
It could
Yeah.
be.
It is right now. Therefore be it resolved that the review board approves the lot line adjustment request of Glenn and Edie Schneider, who are dividing the original 31-acre lot into one approximately 18-acre and one approximately 14-acre lot. And that the subdivision plat has been approved by the town of and that the plat has been approved by the Town of Caroline Review Board on June 2nd, 2025, with the following information not included in the review. Proposed use for each lot, proposed location of any structure, septic permit, water supply information, and driveway locations. No development units are being conveyed. Okay, and Jesse, I will update this evening or tomorrow morning and send it to you.
Thank you, Jean.
Lovely.
Is it a problem that this, that the Hackett's haven't, I mean, this goes back to my, right, what we're doing is,
Moving
we're
their
taking the wetland parcel and combining it with their existing.
I'm going to
And
put into
there's
this
been no
the
discussion
Hackett's
with them
name.
about that.
I'm gonna just put into the resolution the Hackett's
Fine.
name.
But we don't need a discussion if there's no development units going with it. And
Right.
it's covered by the EC.
Well,
Yeah,
I get all that, and
But
I-
this town has done lot line
You're-
adjustments forever and has never done that.
Still has to close.
Yeah,
You're,
just.
yeah, I understand what you're saying. You're
Okay.
worried about some land being shoved onto somebody else's parcel, being added to it without their knowledge.
Exactly, okay,
Yeah.
just so you hear me.
Yeah.
I totally hear you. I cannot conceive of a possible situation where that would actually happen. And it being recorded and the people never knowing and there never being any sort of transaction.
A new,
Well, why would somebody do it if they're not?
I'm just saying, I'm just uncomfortable, I'm just saying.
but
that
that's always how it's been
Then
done, right?
no, but.
Then
but-
change
but
the law.
We need to change the
It's,
Yeah, change the law,
law.
change the law, change the
So
application, then
what's
it's
the
fine.
procedure now?
No,
We
I-
approved it, it gets recorded with the county,
Right,
but then a new survey map would have to be drawn up, right?
mhm.
Our attorneys, doesn't have to be a real estate closing? Cause they're
Yeah.
buying, they're spending money, they're
Yeah.
buying it, so this isn't the end of it.
right,
This is the first step, it's not a done deal.
So.
Right.
County requires review board to have stamped the drawing. But that doesn't mean it's a done deal,
right,
because somebody has to come forward with a closing document and a deed that talks about the hell's going on here. So,
right.
so that,
Wouldn't,
I don't, think we shouldn't be.
No.
We're making this much bigger deal.
I'm just uncomfortable doing something.
I
with
don't
someone's
think
property,
Snyder's
and they haven't
Town
even.
board,
What's
not
that?
a review board. Being on a town board, you could change the law. So have fun, we're waiting.
This is your decision. Don't blame the town board, sorry.
No, you're the one who's bringing it up.
Wait, I don't get it, I really don't.
He said, well, Tom just said if
Yep.
we need to change the law, we're gonna require that, that's all.
All you'd have to do is change the application. And you're in charge of the applications,
Okay,
But the Snyders haven't been paid for it yet.
right?
So they're probably not, it's not gonna go to closing until they get their money.
oh,
But
right,
it can't go
yeah,
to
Right.
closing until we assign the debt, until we sign the drawing.
This is just the first step.
okay.
Yeah,
It's not.
No, I agree with Craig, I don't see any scenario where they wouldn't be happy with this. I'm just.
well, they would also
They
get
don't
no,
have it.
so the county,
They don't have it. They don't have it yet.
yeah,
The Hackett's don't have it, because he stamps his drawing, they don't own the land.
Oh, okay,
They
so,
don't own the land until there's a closing with a deed that's filed with the county clerk.
but, okay, so maybe I'm misunderstanding, because I should look at this more carefully, but. By calling this a lot line adjustment, are we not merging their property with this property?
That
I'm
can
not-
only happen whenever there's a deed that goes with it.
we're allowing it to happen, but it hasn't happened
there
yet,
has to be a transaction, even if there's no money
We're
conveyed.
giving them permission.
There
right,
still has to be a transaction
Okay,
that happens with the lawyers,
right.
sure.
and that's what gets,
That's when
I
it
get
becomes
that.
final.
I get that.
Right now, it's,
You have to think of the. law.
somebody could die,
it's just,
you know, like the Hackett's could die. And so this wouldn't happen,
Exactly.
right? So things, until that happens, it hasn't really occurred,
So for the parcel we're working on, we have two deeds being drawn up for two different transfers of parcel of land.
right?
But I can't do any of that until I have stamped drawings.
Right. Okay,
What's that?
so we've made the Snyder Hill project, a lot line adjustment, I still need a map to stamp.
Okay.
Which you may or may not have,
I think he.
I think you have it, I don't know if it's enough of them for all the filings and whatnot, but
He's got
let
a
me
pile
know.
put together.
Let me know, we can do those at the end.
Okay.
Okay,
On me. All right, so Don's we've taken care of, the subdivision for Watson,
mhm,
which is the Slaterville Road one. This one, we have set, so we've set that as a public hearing for next month,
right,
Yeah,
correct?
yes,
So that's a subdivision, but we approved the lot line adjustment. So I'll stamp and sign those tonight.
right.
Okay.
So we still
Oh,
have to
shit,
do
there's another Slaterville Road,
2490 Slaterville.
2490 Slaterville Road.
Okay, so that's the Munson Burks,
Oh, that was a simple lot line adjustment
yes,
for the neighbor. Yep. 2990. All right, so that's lot line adjustment. Yes, and that was clear, currently titled.
Quite a collection of maps.
yes, we do,
Maybe I-
Parcel P is what's conveying. Right?
Yeah.
Parcel B. It's what's conveying to the neighbors.
Getting out of the way.
All right, so.
What's weird about this is this driveway goes onto this parcel, which is going to be attached to this parcel. That was a part I couldn't figure out, but I finally got it.
we say that's okay, they can just have a driveway back there, just
They
for the
can
hell
just
of
do
it.
that.
Well, it's not, you mean this?
Yeah.
This is just the turnaround.
Sure, but it's
So,
on,
yeah, it's
but
a
it's
little-
on this parcel.
It's a little bit of parking that's on that part.
Sure,
Yeah.
but one would think that this person here would want to have that, but apparently
Well,
this
depends
neighbor
on,
over here wants to, so
well,
that's.
depends on neighbor relations.
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna judge that.
Matthew.
So,
This is a survey, right?
I mean,
yeah,
Yeah, so let's see.
it's a subdivision plat, it says actually.
Yeah. So Bob, are they gonna put the development units on here?
It says no development units are being transferred,
Oh, okay.
was in the stuff.
but
But they need to be on there.
per
It should be on there.
what we've been doing, if I'm gonna stamp something, it should say 0 development units and then however many total development units are in the.
Right,
In the future, I need to have the surveyor. do
put that on.
This
Yeah,
came
ideally.
through.
This is your 530?
And I'm sorry.
This is
No,
your
no, that was the round one. I got this application. I hadn't talked to the applicants yet, and I didn't send them back to the surveyor to get those on it, because I thought you'd write them in this time.
Yeah.
But the others that came to me, submitting their applications before they had the survey maps, I asked them to please have the
Right
units
on.
recorded. And
Yeah.
of course, they didn't have it, so
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
learning.
And with each of the applicants, do you kind of have to work through how to do that?
I have to, I send it to their surveyor.
But as far as,
Description,
do they have, is it pretty easy for them to figure it out or?
yeah, they usually don't.
Right,
No biggie?
Don't think much. Usually they just want it distributed according to
Mhm.
the.
so this whole parcel was. It's only 2.16 acres, is that right?
well, total would have been 3 point.
So this is only one
Two.
development acre anyway, one development
Mhm.
unit,
Okay.
right?
That's right.
1 retained, okay,
Okay. So would you like a resolution?
yeah, it sounds
Okay.
great.
So whereas the Town of Carolina Review Board has reviewed the information on a lot line adjustment on tax map parcel 1-1, no, 1.-1, I hate these. -46.3, is that right? Yes. I think so.
Yeah,
Requested by Michael and Kimberly Munson Burke at 7 PM on June 2nd, 2025, which would then create a second lot of approximately 1 acre. Therefore, be it resolved, the review board approves the lot line adjustment request of Michael and Kimberly Munson Burke, who are transferring the parcel, and that the new survey map has been approved by the Town of Carolina Review Board on June 2nd, 2025. Oh, well, whatever day it is. With the following information not included in the review: proposed use for each lot, proposed location of any structures, septic permit, water supply information, and driveway locations. No development units are being transferred to the new parcel. I'm gonna put in 1 development unit remains with the Munson Burks. How's that?
Very good.
Okay.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
We like you better in person, Bruce.
Bruce sounds like a wounded duck.
But not tonight.
You wouldn't want me there. You wouldn't want this.
I wouldn't want this? Yeah, probably not.
I'm sorry, Bruce. Hope you're feeling better.
Excellent, so Downey Road,
Yes.
South Road lot adjustment.
So he's just changing the lines that he just made, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a flag lot line, I mean.
Yeah.
That came through and he's just shifting it over so that. I'm assuming whoever he's selling it to doesn't want like a driveway there or something.
Yes, is,
So maybe there was a reason for it originally.
Yeah, it gave 3 different access points to the
I
same
see.
sort of. Buried lot,
I got it.
Here's
so
the
it's just taking one of them away.
revised map.
Hot
Yeah,
off the
so
press.
there was an access to this lot through here,
Mhm.
but now he just took it away.
Yeah.
But he still has two more. There's like one at South
Right.
Hill and maybe two on South Road.
So at this moment, this is, no, he's not selling at this point to anyone else that we know. It's just, he's creating these lots.
Tweaked it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This line adjustment. It's for Mr. Brown's. I'm not even gonna say what it's for, because I don't know. So whereas the Town of Caroline Review Board has reviewed the information on the lot line adjustment on tax map parcel 27.1-4.1 requested by Creighton Brown at 7 PM on June 2nd, 2025. Therefore, be it resolved, the review board approves the lot line adjustment request of Mr. Brown, and that the new survey map has been approved by the Town of Caroline Review Board on June, whatever day it is, with the following information not included in the review: proposed use for each lot, proposed location of any structures, septic permit, water supply information, and driveway locations. Where are we on development units? Nothing, because he, as my recollection is that he retained all of his development units at the
They were
beginning. didn't he?
distributed, already in the, previous
First
minor
subdivision.
subdivision.
So,
And this is, how much, I didn't think it was enough land to, it's not 3 acres, so.
it doesn't have to be, it can be 1 acre and be a development unit, so.
it is over 3 acres
Yeah.
currently. It must have had a development, right? If I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
I
I
think so.
think we
I'm gonna
talked,
say
I think we
develop-
talked him into 2 development
I think-
rights or something like that
I think
per.
there's-
Or it might have been 3, multiple per lot, but I don't remember exactly. So.
But the line isn't 3 acres,
Right.
yeah, so it wouldn't,
How about if, can I say that the development rights on
No
the,
development rights conveyed.
no
Yeah,
development
They
rights
remain the
conveyed?
same.
Yeah, this stays the same.
Okay,
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I,
fabulosity.
Thanks, Bruce.
I think we're,
Alright. Any other business?
I'm gonna make a suggestion for process. I'm gonna suggest that Bob gets a stamp that he puts on each one of these survey maps he gets from the surveyors. We have no idea what development units are or how many being transferred. And you stamp that on each drawing so that the applicant can fill it in.
saying,
Saying
okay.
Number of
units.
Number of units in the original parcel and how many are being conveyed.
Yeah, that's
So
a
that-
good point.
So that you don't have to go through this with the surveyor, because I can tell you when I'm gonna go to mine. So what the hell are you talking
Yeah.
about?
right, that's a good idea.
Well, when I communicate with the surveyor, I have to send them, part of the code explaining it because they.
And it's not their decision.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So if you do that, I can stamp, I'll do mine.
Yeah.
Just as a test case, you know.
Get a new stamp.
Stamps are fun.
Well, I'm not the first one to use a stamp.
I mean, look at his,
Good idea.
look at Craig's fancy stamp.
Good idea.
So do you have more in the hopper?
Well, I had
Yeah, what's up for next?
less. Yes,
Well, you can tell them that we're being
We'll see.
reasonable.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, it should be, the process should be clear.
Yeah.
So the law says.
Right.
If there's a waiver, it would happen at the meeting regarding the plat.
Yeah.
Because we can't waive it,
it's a case by case.
but
Yeah,
the code officer isn't doing
it's
the
the
waiving.
review board's
No,
It's
decision.
review board's decision, so the code officer, I don't think should instruct applicants.
No, but he did sort of tell them that they'd have to have a full one and
But,
he can tell them
but
now
you could.
what's happening.
The code officer could. Counsel applicants that they have rights to apply for waivers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the code officer shouldn't be in the position of making the decision.
I mean, that's what the review board will be doing, looking through the list of things in the law to say that's not relevant, no, but. What was I gonna say? I lost it.
It's okay.
Oh, I know what it was. So. For
You have
the
another
sketch,
one?
for the sketch plan meeting,
Think-
the survey
I think I-
is not required and not advised either.
Right,
Because you want them to come there with the ability to modify the survey.
right.
And so at the sketch plan meeting, that's where the review board has the ability to make
Yeah,
decisions.
that makes
So
sense.
That's all.
What's happening with the solar thing?
I don't know, I don't know.
Maybe it lost federal funding.
I don't know,
If
I can think of another one if you have it, but
wondered
otherwise,
That's all they have.
that.
you go
I
ahead.
do remember though that when we
You
had
can make
chat
copies of it?
about the timeline,
Fine.
it was pretty protracted. It was out there.
Yeah,
ways.
It was sort of, they had to hurry up to try to get the state credits. but-
Yeah,
They had to hurry up to wait.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
So, and yeah, so
and you could be right. I mean, what could be worse than solar power? Really, it's a terrible thing.
What if we use coal? Just like a.
Maybe, we will be soon.
Yeah.
I think it's coming back.
Reopen my coal chute, in my basement.
Yeah.
this meeting is
Yeah.
being recorded.
So shall we adjourn?
Yeah, I moved to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Again, excellent.
All over that, yep, okay.
See if they understand.